Hi, Govan, and welcome to the Tolkien Lore Channel. I'm Tolkien Geek, and back for another Thursday Tolkien Thoughts video, this time about Aragorn and Saruman. Why these two people? Because they hardly ever have anything to do with each other? Well, because one of the things we get in the Appendices is that when Aragorn is traveling around and he is under the guise of Thorongil, serving under Ecthelion, the father of Denethor, who will later be the steward in the main story, he advises Ecthelion against having too much to do with Saruman and instead in favor of spending more time and relying more on the wisdom of Gandalf the Grey, or Mithrandir as they would have known him in Gondor. This is really interesting because it tends to make you think Aragorn maybe knew something about Saruman, but if he knew something about Saruman, why didn't he pass that knowledge on to Gandalf? Was it because they never met in between those two times and he just never had the opportunity to inform him? Or is it just because he's favoring Gandalf because he knows Gandalf and he thinks that Gandalf is the wiser of the two and therefore is just like, hey, Saruman is, holding down one of your forts for you, kind of literally. But I think Gandalf is really more on the ball with what's going on, and I think you should listen to him more because there is the whole White Council disagreement on when and whether to attack Sauron at Dol Guldur. So is he basing this off of personal knowledge he has about Saruman, or is he basing it on just what he knows about the White Council and its own divisions, or what's going on? Does this have any effect on Saruman in the future? Does Ecthelion in fact follow his advice and go with Gandalf more? Does this make Denethor in fact choose the opposite path because Denethor doesn't really like Thorongil and the fact that he is more beloved by his own father than he is himself, and a better, more efficient, more effective captain in the Gondorian army, and therefore he takes out his pride and, resentment against Thorongil by going the exact opposite direction and spending more time, thinking about or talking with Saruman and less with Gandalf, or at least less with Gandalf. We don't know if he really ever consulted with Saruman. Saruman had been there for a good while by that point, so it's possible Denethor and Saruman never really talked at all, and seemingly if Saruman just at some point claims Isengard for himself, Denethor probably wouldn't be happy about that, but certainly Denethor is less happy about Gandalf than he otherwise should be. So it makes you wonder, how much of Aragorn's advice here is based on knowledge or just kind of personal friendship with Gandalf? And how much effect does that have on Ecthelion and Denethor going forward? And, that's details that we never really get in the story, but it would be really interesting to kind of explore that and just kind of see what that would mean, how that would play out, the psychology behind it, the personal drama behind it, that kind of a thing. So there's your Thursday thoughts for this week. Thanks to all the channel supporters, especially Elf Friends PA Brew News, Tracy Meehan, Nathan DeFore, Paul Leone, and Oleg Gregg.